there's security in growth, there's stability in growth. The bigger it gets, the less I'll have to tolerate, because I'll have great people like Artem, have great people like Matt. You have a stable of great people who you can trust, because one of the things that allows you to step away from the treatment, the training, is like, you got to have people you trust.
Talk to him.
Welcome back to Showtime Speaks, to Keep Going podcast. This season of bringing dreams and ideas to life. Kenny, we in the building. Matt, we in the building. FSC, we in the building. They trying to stop greatness, but we here. 3, 2, 1. Come on! Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. Back in the studio. Back with the vibes. Back with the energy. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
Kenny, what's going on?
I feel it. I felt that. I feel like I'm about to play a game right now.
Oh my gosh, man. This is Showtime Speaks, to Keep Going podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Matt, what's going on, man? I know it's a lot going on, but
No, we made it happen.
we made it happen.
I was questioning it for a second.
I know.
I never question it, Matt.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I love that about you.
Yeah, I mean, I stay
yeah,
calm,
yeah.
cool, collective, shit or whatever. Yo, let's play another game. I'm just here chilling. I know it's going on.
You gotta get out of the way while the master do his work. You feel me? But just, we always like to start. How you guys doing? Just like, we've been out of the studio for a little bit now. We do have a special guest in the building, but before we introduce him, we got to check in with each other, man. What's going on?
I'm good, bro. Good. Everything's good. I'm moved into my new spot.
He ain't leaving!
I mean, I don't know all about that. Yeah.
But right now, you ain't leaving. You ain't going nowhere. Let's go.
But everything good, bro. Now is, again, it's always like different seasons.
Yeah.
I was in a season of everything, not hectic, but like busy.
Yeah.
Now kids back in school trying to figure out their schedule. So it's kind of like more on the downside, but it's giving me a chance to, settle into my new spot and try to figure things out for, fall, winter, and next year. So
I love it, bro.
How about you?
Things good, man. Busy, man. We've been on the road with Showtime Speaks. We've been at Del Valle, went to Westchester, pulled up to Chuyans, was in San Fran, was in Vegas, was doing all these special things. But
and we was just at a tailgate too.
And we went to a tailgate too. Yeah. We didn't drop that episode yet, but it will be coming out probably next week or this week. But just the energy is just way up. Being able to do different things, showing the reach. We've gotten so many new subscribers on YouTube, so many new people following the movement, the energy. Just extremely excited about the growth. I think that, I'm finally starting to truly accept, not trying to change my verbiage on football's leaving, and I'm entering this new realm of new life and new opportunity, new people. And I'm glad to have our presenting sponsor in the building before we introduce them. But Matt, what's going on?
I'm just happy to have you guys back. You guys left and
I know.
Became Rockstars and then came back here. So I almost feel honored to have you here at this point. I did miss you guys. It was much quieter here.
Yeah. I see you got like a little tarp over there for us now. With the screaming.
I had to put up a sound blanket.
Just a visual of what's been going on, man. We always appreciate you for believing in us since day one, giving us the opportunity to take, Showtime Speaks on the road. This thing does not function and move without you.
Wait, we have to tell the story of you coming back and literally being like, you were so upset because he thought he broke something.
Oh my gosh.
He thought I broke it.
Well, no, he probably blamed you.
Yeah. We opened the camera. I'm helping them undo the cameras and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's supposed to be like this. He gonna look at the camera. Bro, there's a scratch on the camera. I'm like, bro, I didn't do nothing, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of anxiety with, Matt trusted me with the equipment.
Like $10,000 worth of
you
equipment.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I get it, but I'm like, bro, I'm not even helping y'all set up.
Yeah.
Kenny didn't show up till later on after me and BXA Digital. Big shout out to BXA Digital. Sure. He's had a huge role in the success of taking Showtime Speaks on the road. Big shout out to you, bro. We love you, bro. And we're thinking about you.
For sure.
The moment of truth, man. The moment of truth. I think that with all great things, you need people behind you that believe in you. And, our presenting sponsor, our biggest sponsor on Showtime Speaks, the owner and CEO is in the building. Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike.
Physical therapist, sports rehab, post-surgical rehabilitation, online programs. If you got back pain, if you got knee pain, if you got any type of pain, Next Level Physical Therapy can take care of you. I mean, can we get the drum roll for Dr. Mike? He is in the building, man. Come on, man. How you doing, Dr. Mike? What's going on?
I'm excited, man. Let's get it going.
If people don't know who Dr. Mike is, who is he?
Oh, Dr. Mike, I'm physical therapist. I own Next Level.
Yeah, man.
You know, been doing it for about 10 years now, and we're just, I feel like we're just getting started.
No, I love it, man. Just to see, what you guys been doing over the past, few years, several years, watching the growth of Next Level has been extraordinary, man. I just want to give you your kudos, man, for what you've been doing and what you've been building. I also want to just talk about the relationship of this whole thing started because of Artem and you and Kenny, and I just want to hear you guys talk about the relationship.
For me, it was Mike Sowers.
Yeah.
I was working with him, of course, his speed, Jody conditioning coach. And Mike went to Princeton. And then one day he came back to me like, yeah, bro, I've been seeing this dude, Dr. Mike, you gotta meet him, this, that, and the third. And one day I went in there to see a session with Mike, and Dr. Mike was putting all this different stuff on. I'm like, yo, what all this stuff you doing? Like, he doing all this breathing technique. I'm like, what does that do? So it was cool to see that and just to learn different things in this room. So, and now, it just kind of piggybacked. Then I went to him, I checked it out for my Achilles.
Yeah.
I didn't stay there, but ended up seeing the spot in Jersey, and it's cool to see how, again, it's grown.
No, yeah, man.
Sure.
Can you just talk about that part of the business and the growth and just before we even talk about the business part, because we want to save a little bit, because we got Mr. Big Time in the building, Mr. Matt over there. We want to save some room for him because he's been a huge help to the success and the help in the last few months of Next Level. Just talk about you, the person, family man. Just talk about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go back to? I feel like there's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. I'm getting excited, man.
No, I mean, I feel like even before the family thing, me as a person, I feel like you were getting into the growth of it all in terms of stuff like this is what's cool about it, right? There's just, it's such a small world, and the things happen for a reason. It was all even so much of this and nothing with you and Artem. It doesn't happen without, my relationship with Mike or things that happened before Mike that led to that relationship. And it's a cool thing. Cause God, that was probably 6 years ago now. I mean, it was, this is all kind of
full circle.
Yeah. It's just, and it's really cool. And I think that to see stuff like this happen, because of something like that happened so long ago, I think that's one of the coolest parts of the growth, 100%. I think, for me.
No, it's a true testament to just building relationships. And we talk about business a lot. And one of the key things in business is the relationships that you have with people. I think that's the one thing that matters the most. I think that we don't go into business, you don't become presenting sponsor for Showtime Speaks if we didn't have that relationship prior. Me, Artem, and Kenny, the whole umbrella effect of, this whole entire thing, man. And, it means something to both me and Kenny, just for you to believe in us, to be like, you know what, I trust you with saying my business on your platform. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for all of it, because it's actually given not only myself, but Kenny, all of us, a belief system and knowing that I can actually do this for a living.
Yeah.
So I just want to publicly say thank you. So on that realm of getting to know you a little bit more, can we just hear about, married, kids? I know I hear a lot of stories from Artem and stuff like that. I just want to give you a chance to really talk about your life and your background and your family background.
Yeah. I mean, I think where I'm at today and what I'm doing and Next Level and the growth, I mean, it's all been one giant personal journey. I think, growing up, I was super into sports, I mean, really basketball. Basketball was my thing back in the day. And I played it, you probably can't tell looking at me now, but I played at a fairly high level and was that was my passion, my life. And, I always had the work ethic, always had the drive, but it was always just something, injuries, something, and it was never someone hit me and I tore my ACL. It was these weird things. And, I'd go see people and could never figure them out. And, but it exposed me to physical therapy through the process. And, I ended up deciding, in high school, I wanted to continue pursuing basketball into college. And I was like, that's that phase of your life where you got to pick what you're going to do, I'm not going to the NBA. And it's, so physical therapy was something I had been introduced to. At that time, it was just kind of I could stay involved with sports. It seems kind of cool, make a decent living. I'll choose to do this. But my main focus at that point of life was just pursuing basketball. So I went to Ithaca College to, primarily with the focus to play basketball. And at that time I was, coming out of high school, I was kind of, how do you say, I had underperformed in high school because of injuries. And, so I was like, just kind of looking for a fresh start. I was, coming off my senior, like my head was just all in basketball. And just had this weird injury summer before my freshman year. It just kind of like took me out of, had a surgery, tried to fix it, just could never figure it out. And, it was one of those just, transitions in life, and college was really just kind of trying to find my, kind of like what we've talked about with you and your journey with, transitioning from sports into something else. It was like a similar thing where, you have all this energy, you have this, I'm a person of, I enjoy the work. I enjoy, like, I think even at a young age, it was always, there was passion, motivation, desire to be better. Like, I always had that work ethic, but then I lost my outlet to like direct it towards, you know what I mean? And I know you can relate to that. Yeah. And, so, through school, I kind of do my thing, go through the motions, like just kind of explore, different things. And, I get to the end and, in physical therapy school, they make you go through, rotations. And I remember one of my, like internships, right?
Okay.
And my first internship, I was, lucky enough to get this rotation with the Texas Rangers Major League baseball team, right? And I go down to their, physical therapy plays. We're working with the team doctor. It was like, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm at the pinnacle. Like, this is the pinnacle of like the profession, right? Like, this is like pro sports. It's the, the top therapist, literally the top. Like, I don't know if you guys know Dr. James Andrews, but the guy who runs the range, he's like, he was like one of his mentees. Like, so I'm like, I get this opportunity to see the best, like, and you get there and like, man, like it was a very, I don't want to sound unappreciative for the experience, because like the people, it shaped me, but I'm there and I'm seeing what we're doing with these people, and I'm pulling rubber bands, I'm doing stretches, and I'm like, this is the pinnacle of the profession, but this stuff never worked for me. And it, you know what I mean? And it was just like, I just remember coming back from that experience, like this, it was a cool experience. I had a great summer or whatever, but it was this feeling of like, oh man, if this is what I'm putting 7 years of my life and going into that, it's, and so at that point, I was kind of in this just a weird spot, right? Like I think I was anticipating and directing my energy into this, and it kind of was like fell short in a way. And at that point, I got into my now business partner, who owns Next Level with me. We were in the same PT school class, and he was going to Entrepreneurship club, and we like get into, he was like kept trying to get me to come with them. And we started going, and I just got bit by the bug of it all, and we like actually ended up starting a business in college, like in PT school. This was at the time, I think it was like 2011. But we designed a mobile app for physical therapists to prescribe video-based home exercise programs. So there's 2011, like part of our pitch was like 60% of people have smartphones. It was like smartphone adoption is going to become like a thing, and so we were like a kind of ahead. It was a cool idea at the time. We were ahead of the curve, but we just got into, we won a couple business pitch competitions. We ended up getting into this like really cool incubator program, and we took it to the point where we had multiple investors lined up to like invest with us, but we had to decide between that and like finishing school. But at that point, I was like just bit by the bug. So I knew at some point in my life I was going to do something with business. So I feel like I'm talking a lot.
You're good. This is what it's for. Just hearing you just talk about the whole process, I feel like I think that's the most important thing about this whole thing is to get you really talking about like what it really took. Because when do we ever really get a real opportunity to say, yo, I went through this, and this. I was an athlete. I got bit by the bug of business and this, that. I think that's important for knowing about, business, man. It's a cool story, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm in my like last year of PT school, so I kind of had this another moment where I just like, I had this thing that was, we went all in on this, like we literally like were, some of my stories of we were like sneaking into rooms on campus at like 3 a.m. in the morning to like, do like to work on this thing while studying to be a doctor of physical therapy. Like it was one of those where I had kind of found that next lane of where I could direct my passion, direct my energy. And, at the point where we're like, we just can't keep doing this. Like we got to finish school. It kind of put me back into one of those zones again. And I remember I'm like, just, went from 2 a.m., grinding out like, business pitches and, working on that to just chilling, playing 2K. I was like, this school shit's easy. I'm just like, chilling, playing 2K, like going to class. And all the while knowing again, I'm like, I gotta, I gotta find this, like this next direction for myself.
Yeah, man.
And, Kenny will appreciate this. My dad was actually a strength coach. So he, it was like, he had another career prior, but he went to East Stroudsburg and the exercise physiology program. Nice. And I just remember, I don't know what inspired me to think about it, but he like randomly just had this like functional movement screen kit, like this FMS kit. And I just, I'm at the end of my school and I'm kind of, all right, I guess I got to do this physical therapy thing. But man, I've been with the Texas Range. I've had these experiences. Like I'm not going to just like go out there and do that, I got to find a different lane somehow. So for some reason, I just remembered my dad had this thing, FMS kit. And I was like, I'm just sitting there, looked it up. And I just, ended up getting introduced to the guy, like, the guy who made it. And he had a book. And I remember I like read the whole book in like one night, and I was just like, I just got like immersed. Yeah, because it was this concept that, you get hurt, right? And you get your shoulder gets hurt, your back gets hurt. But it's like, no, there's these ways, these patterns in the body and the way that, it all connects. And, in school, you learn about, neurological conditions and orthopedic conditions and pediatric conditions. And like, they all are kind of separated, right? But you start realizing that, no, it actually is all kind of connected. And it's, and it was like, ooh, like this, and it just reinvigorated me. And I went all in, first couple of years, I moved, if you want to get into family and life, my girlfriend at the time, we moved out to Indiana. This is my wife now. And we moved out to Indiana because that was the guys who did this approach. They had a residency program out there. And we moved out there for 2 years almost. And I just went all in. And in my first couple of years of my career, just learned as much as I could, tens of thousands of dollars on continuing education courses and just, all this stuff that was these things that are out there that just no one really knows about, the public doesn't know about. And I think I just was, and at the point at the end of my residency, I was kind of at this path of, all right, do I pursue a career in pro sports, which, I think I could have pursued and made happen, or, my wife's from, in Hamilton, New Jersey, where our first clinic is, and she really wants to move home, and, do I, start my own thing up? So that was the point, the decision at that point in time. The reason we started in Hamilton, New Jersey was, my wife really wanted to move home, and I always knew I wanted to start something. It seemed like a good market to do it in. And I think my mission at that point became, how do you, take these things, these approaches that exist that can help people, far beyond what the standard is.
100%, man.
And how do you make it something that can actually be known about and exist and scale and, become something that's more than just these obscure classes that a handful of PT know about. And, and I think that's how Next Level started.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And where did the name come from though, Next Level?
It's nothing. Honestly, I was just no, this stuff I'm doing, this is some next level shit.
Come on, bro. You heard what he said? Next level physical therapy.
It was it was just, okay. Yeah, I was trying to think of a name.
Yeah, man.
And this is the next level. This is some next level shit.
I like it, yo. It's so cool hearing Like, it's like we get up here, we talk about it. I go to, Artem and everything, and I would hear so many different stories. Hearing you just talk about the background of it all, it's a lot of people need to understand that before you get big time, before you have 4 locations, before you have 5 working on this and doing that, it started from this small space of hunger, passion, energy, not settling for what you thought was your path and going on a different route and saying, you know what? This is where I see myself going. And I think that is Showtime Speaks. That is keep going, man.
Yeah, 1,000%. No, and I think that's why we've always aligned with your brain and stuff too. And man. And Artem, I mean, got Artem,
how'd that work? How'd that happen?
Me, Artem's been there from the beginning. So basically, I think he remembers more than I do at certain aspects of it, but about 3 months in, so, I decided I'm going to start.
Yeah.
And and that's when I had a lot of entrepreneurial experience. I had some business experience under my belt. So I wasn't walking in like knowing nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I knew I needed to like keep my expenses low, just stay lean, start easy. So I ended up running a space inside of it was a baseball training facility. It's one of the funny things. I hate baseball, but somehow I ended up becoming like a baseball physical therapist,
Yeah.
And I was renting this closet in this gym. I love the owner of the gym to death. He was a huge help with me getting off the ground, but he, it wasn't a very well-run business.
Yeah.
I remember the stories would be like, anytime I have like a woman client, I couldn't even let them, where's the bathroom? I'm like, I can't let you go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hold it. But basically, a couple months in, so I was on this, there's this community like Artem just found me. Like he just found me online.
Wow,
and there was we were in like a mutual community, and he was at the time like, wanted to go to physical therapy school. I think he was like in the process of applying, and he just reached out to me, and like a couple months in and of me opening, and just wanted to come hang out and shadow. And, I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he came, and Artem's a special dude, man. It was one of those, it was just so natural.
Yeah.
He just soaked it all in, and, and I was able to, provide him guidance with, getting into PT school more specifically where to do his like affiliation.
Yeah, I remember he was saying that when he came on the show.
Yeah. And we just, it's one of the relationships I cherish, like, a lot in my life, and I feel like at times we're a little, the kind of business owner, like dynamic of it. Like, I think, limits how deep our relationship can go at times, but I think that, me and him, we have a special bond, and I feel like, he's literally seen all of it, and, and I've known him since before he even got into physical therapy school.
He's just what he said, man. Yeah. It's special, man.
Yeah, I want to know, man, like, I want to know how you went from PT, Dr. Mike, to businessman Mike. You get what I'm saying? Like, how'd you get out of doing the PT? You was doing PT, like I said, I mentioned you was working with Mike.
Yeah, yep.
All the athletes to, all right, I'm trying to scale now. I need to be a businessman. You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm stuck at. I'm trying to become more of a businessman than just a personal trainer or a sports performance trainer. You know what I mean?
I think it starts with the intent. Like, I think for me, because I had the business experience, through my like schooling, and I was able to do that. I knew coming in, like, there were certain things that I had known or accepted about business in general. Like, I think I came into it knowing that was the goal, right? Like I think even from day one, it was always this cool intersection of my passion for the physical therapy side and like the knowledge of the body and like, and that, but I knew if I wanted a business, like it couldn't always be that way. And I've been in, a lot of coaching groups and been around a lot of people who try to start similar practices. And the inevitable hiccup they all go through is that, there's kind of an ego attached to being the guy, right? Or there's kind of this feeling like no one can do it as well as I can, or just a lack of understanding that. Yeah, and honestly, I think one of the things that I have also come to realize is, like, in the early days, I was naive about it. I thought that I probably could be the world-class best PT and also own a big business. And the further I got through it, it's like, you got to choose a path at some point. And I think that the idea was that, for me, is that No, for what I want with my life, my family, and I think even too, just all of my experiences leading together, I feel like my role in it is to create a space where the type of treatment I believe in can exist. Because the people who do it the best, they end up just like teaching courses, and maybe they have a little small, they have no business skills, so they just like they're not actually putting these things out into the world. And my goal, and but you have great therapists who want to learn them and have the capacity to like implement them. That I felt like my role became, how do I create the space where that can happen? How do I leverage my experiences, the things I've learned, to get the message out there, right? Like, to like let people know that these types of things exist. And I think it started with the intent. I think the second thing was like appreciating that it would be a process. Like, it's not like you go from one night treating all the patients to the next day like you're a businessman who's not seeing anyone, right? Like there was like a very intentional journey, really, like that, I had to go through to get to that point of transitioning it all, right? Because you got to find the right people underneath you who you believe in. You got to train them to to deliver, not even just deliver the product, but like the service, the
how you see it.
Communication, the like you got to build your your group, and then at that point you can start to transition it out.
But my question is, how did you build that group? Like, I know Artem is one of a kind, but like, how do you go about picking these individuals like to work under you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like building that team.
I will definitely say I was lucky at the beginning. I mean, because my first 3 people, my first PT that I hired kind of came to me similarly to Artem. He just like, found me online, was interested in what I was doing. We had an opportunity to build a relationship before he worked for me. And it just, I literally trained him like how, and everything I was doing, and he was just about it. And he had a great personality, and I kind of just lucked out. My second guy, who's still with us, he's like, kind of like our head, PT now, and is one of the directors at the other clinics. That was through a mutual relationship, like in my residency, like, his, Dr. Lior, he's like, we just had so much shared alignment, vision, and it just made a natural fit. And then my third was Artem. And I just like, there was an element of luck. And I think anyone who's had any success in like business, like there's always some element of like things just fall into place in the right time. That was definitely early in the business, was one of the things that definitely did and allowed me to make that transition. And I mean, I think in the early going, it was really just about the relationships. Like, like I think those first couple people you find, like, I don't know if I really know anyone who's had that, been able to get to that point where their first few people didn't come through some kind of mutual relationship. I think if you just go out and start putting hiring ads out and try to hire someone, not saying you can't do it, but facts. That wasn't my story.
Because my main thing was like, what if you, like the first guy came to you, right? Boom, you told him everything you know, and he was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, that ever happened to you or no?
Not in that way, but yeah, I've had plenty of experiences. Where you pour into people and, you're patient with them, and then it kind of just, I mean, it's part of the risk. But the first one, I can't say I had that experience. I mean, my first guy was with me for, I think, 5 years. Leor's been with me almost 8 now. Artem's been with me. I mean, Artem's been with me since the beginning, but he's been working for me for like 6 or 7 now. So I was lucky. And even, you guys, Elise from, I mean, Elise is great too. And I mean, she's been with me she's been with 4 years now, almost 5. Like, I think, like, I did well my first wave of people. And that was like, I think one of the things that helped. And I think in awareness though, like I don't think I would have poured into those people the way I did if I didn't see them as being, you know what I mean? So even though they came as, they came through relationships largely, they demonstrated to me that like they were worth it too, and I think, I think maybe that's like more of maybe what you're getting at, where it's like, how do you, whether it's through a hiring thing, like you just, run ads or you'll find a relationship that makes sense. I think that there's, that those first few people, they gotta want to be in it with you. If they want to just like, if they're nitpicking over their hours and want to punch the clock, it's like that. you get to that stage later, but it's like the first handful of people, at least in my experience, like in this type of, because I think that what you're doing, what I'm doing is similar enough.
Kinda, yeah.
Where it's very people dependent. Those first few hires are critical, and it's got to be the people who are like seeing the vision of what you're doing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because at that point, that's what they're buying into.
Yeah, man. I think that's the most important thing to grow in anything is just hearing you talk about that and the people and what it takes, man. I think that this would be an awesome time to bring Matt on too, to kind of like talk about the growth of Next Level. Just in terms of like when we're talking about growing a business and we're talking about just the social media aspect of Next Level. I've seen it go from, it was never small, but it got bigger. Just talk about, we're on the subject of, changing and building and doing different things. Just talk about the relationship of adding somebody like Matt onto your team to make this whole thing go.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as growing through people, essentially, I think, my first thought would be kind of like what we were talking about with Kenny before, is the intent going into it, right? Like you have to have the awareness. If you want to build anything of substance, you're going to need people at some point. And my business, it's one of the downsides of what I'm into. It's very people dependent and it's very tough. Like me and my business partner talk about this all the time. If our goal was to make money, we would like that was the sole goal, was just to maximize we would not be doing what we're doing because it's so people dependent and it's such a high level of technical service. But growing, you're gonna have to do it through people. So like that was one of the things that, I think sports set me up well. I always had like decent instincts with like, leadership and stuff like that. But you get into it, you realize like it's a whole, you got to learn how to learn how to set people up correctly, learn how to. So I think it starts with the awareness that, you need to go through people, right? Like you're going to need people to grow. You're going to need to learn how to lead them, and regardless of whether you have, because I've met some people who have terrible leadership instincts. I think I'm, generally have better instincts, but it's still not, you got to learn it, even still, and the awareness to know that like, okay, this is a skill set that I have to develop. And, and the third thing is also the awareness that even if you do those things and your intent is pure, it's going to be hard. And it's one of those things that's like a hard thing, it's just, I think one of the most challenging things that I've had to do with the business to this point is that, and you've mentioned this before, seeing our team and stuff. My genuine intent for anyone who comes to work for, like, I am grateful that you are here, that you are contributing in the capacity that you are. I'm grateful that you're trusting me to, create this opportunity for you. And, my genuine desire is for everyone on our team to, come in, make an impact, grow with us, be with us, and be even beyond that, even people who left, like, ultimately one of our kind of things at Next Level is like, we have this saying, like, do what you love, right? And it's one of our things that's kind of been there. It was like with the headline on the first website. And because I think me and my business partner both, it's like, there's kind of this desire, like, I just want people to be fulfilled and happy. And that's my genuine desire for anyone who comes onto our team. One of our core values is contentment, like, and this idea that you should always be pushing for growth and better in yourself. But like, and Artem's, I mean, he's always the guy we reference when we talk about that core value, because he just loves what he's doing. He loves where he's at. He's doing what he wants to be doing. And, so I think one of the challenges is that you have that intent. But you need the other person to, it's still contingent on the other person coming in. You're going to have people who disappoint you. You're going to have people who say they want it and then don't demonstrate it. And I think that as far as growth with people on the team, you do your best to identify those people, like through your hiring processes. And, you learn the more that you see good people come in and bad people come in, like what qualities you're looking for, what you have to prioritize. You do your best to give yourself options. That's always another thing that we talk, like, if I'm picking from a pool of 100 people, my chances of being right if I'm picking from a pool of 30, right? So you got to set that up as well. And then once that person gets in, it's really clear guidance, clear expectations, and in a clear like an outcome that they have. So, with Matthew, as far as how our social media develop, it's a great example because he's been one who's come in and has taken the opportunity
and seized
has
it.
put it in season. And I think it's quickly turning into a really cool success story for our company because it's been a good one because in the story of our social media, we've always been big paid advertisements. People watching this podcast have probably seen me on YouTube a few too many times, and like I'm known as the annoying YouTube guy in certain places. But we always knew at some point we had to go organic and we had to build the brand, and but at the same time, what's required of it, and something you kind of study in the background. What needs to be done, and we always knew we needed the person at the right time to do it. And in comes Matthew. Yeah, man. And man, I mean, he's just like, and I think with Matthew, like one of the cool things with him was like he had demonstrated his expertise like in his portfolio, 1,000%. In his, he had his own YouTube channel. You can see the videos. And I think more than you're trying to validate the people coming in. And his position is pretty easy to validate because like, you either have work to show or you don't. The work, exactly. And his work really impressed us. And, man. He was trying to be a pro rock climber and like has his own story and like so he was doing content like I said he was kind of into that active aspect of it all, and he's just, and I think again you see those things, you take a shot, at some level hiring is taking a shot on someone, you're placing bets. We always like me and my partner we're placing bets on people, and Matthew's been one of the bets that's panning out.
Let's hear about it. I think that a part of Showtime Speaks and the Keep Going podcast is to give people that voice. And, hearing you talk about it, hearing you talk so highly about him, I was like, you know what? Let's get him on the show. Let's hear him speak for himself. And me and Matt have worked personally together with me coming on board and doing some promotion and advertising stuff and connecting and collabing with the podcast and Showtime Speaks. And me and him work hand in hand together on a lot of the things that we do with the ads and everything like that. It's a pleasure to work with you, bro. But I just wanted to hear your voice, man. And I want to hear you talk about the process of being with Next Level, working with me, and just talk about it, bro.
I mean, no, working with Next Level, it's like, this is my first job, ever. So it's I didn't know what I was expecting. I didn't know what I was going into. But then I went into it and it was a very pleasantly surprising experience. Like I was doing YouTube before this, and the reason I wanted to stop, like I didn't want to do that anymore, was one, I wasn't making any money. But then two, I wanted like people to work with. I wanted a good community. Because it was getting lonely over there and just like by myself doing YouTube videos. So then I came into Next Level, and I love making videos and telling stories and all that. That's what I do. That's what I love. So I wanted to do that, but with a company, with people. And I applied for the job. They gave me the job, and it's just been like amazing. I've loved it. Like I get to work with such great people. And like Mike was talking about earlier a little bit, but like they really like care. They show that they care. Like it's not just like I come into work and then clock out. It's like they're good people. So it's just been a great vibe overall. And then just I get to make the videos, and like the videos have been pretty successful so far, and they've been fun. Not satisfied though. We're gonna keep growing, keep going, as you say.
I want you to talk about how and she mentioned it. How is it working with Sheed and being a part of the podcast too?
No, it's been really fun. Like this is new to me. So I've never worked with people. I've never shot ads with people. Like he made it easy though. He brings the energy all the time, of course. And like, no, he's a good person to work with.
Man, it's been even, you won't even know that this, like, how old are you? 20, was it
22, about to be 23.
22 years old.
I don't even think I realized you were that young.
You get what I'm saying? And it's just like to have work with him, you don't even feel that he's that young because of how you carry yourself, bro. And I think that when you're at that age, and a lot of people who watch our show, we got young people, we got older people, but this message is for the young people, man. Like, your path, you never know where it's going to take you. It's all about how can you set yourself up to get to that end goal, to be around people, to change your mindset, to not get so stuck in this way and be like, you know what, maybe these videos and stuff that I'm creating is setting me up for, the future. And I feel like just even, I've been around Next Level for some time now, and I've seen it go to another level because of the addition to you, bro. And I just kind of want to talk about some of your strategies, some of the things that you do within growth, and what are some tips that you can give other creators and other people that are in your shoes? What would you say to them?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with just growing on social media, that whole thing is it comes down to two things: capturing attention and providing value. Like, everybody's just scrolling on their phones, you have to hook them. And by capturing their attention, you can do that in so many different ways. It can be controversial, it can be shocking. There's so many different ways, but no matter what it is, it can be something visual that's really appealing. Yeah, you got to capture their attention. And then once you capture their attention, you need to provide value. And if you're not providing value, they're not going to follow, they're not going to come back. Yeah. But if you're providing value and you're giving them, explaining oh, this is why you're in back pain. Yeah. Which is a lot of what we do is that you're in pain, explain sort of why that is and how we can help. If you're providing that value, you're saying, oh, okay, if you do this, you can probably fix your back pain. And we try not to do quick tips and quick fixes like that, because that's part of Next Level. We don't believe in quick fixes and stuff like that. It absolutely is. It takes a while. But if you can provide value in some sort of way, then they'll follow, they'll keep coming back. Yeah. So it's, and then it can go even further. So if they follow and they're watching all of your videos and you keep providing the value with every single video, then eventually when you try to sell them something, they'll be ready for it. If you try to sell them, sell them a course, or, what we do, we try to get them in for physical therapy. Yeah. And then they know you. They've been watching for a while. Yeah. They're ready. They want that. They want that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think that's important when it comes to building and having everybody on the same track. I think that how do you balance it all? Bringing it back to you, being big boss and communication, and I've always come in and see you on meetings and keeping everything in line. How do you, as Dr. Mike, keep your head on straight throughout all of this, man?
I mean, it's definitely challenging at times, but I think prioritization is everything. Yeah. I think, there's so many, even within our own team, people who probably think we should be doing things that we're not doing, and things of that nature. And one of the things that's allowed us to get to this point is that I think my business partner and I, we have a good ability to make sure our focus is on the right thing at each time. And this has been, I don't know if this is good business advice or not, but it's been something that I think has worked for us. Is we've had to play a game to get to this point, right? Mm-hmm. You've had to accept mediocrity at times and accept the lower standard in certain areas, because you can't do it all, right? Mm-hmm. You can't do everything at once. You try to do everything at once, you're going to do nothing at once, right? And it's just I think that has been one of the biggest frustrations, challenge, because there's certain things and social media is a good example. For years, our staff, we should be doing more social media. Yes, I know. Just wait. Just I'm playing the bigger picture, right? At every turn. And I think that, the ability to prioritize what's important now. If we had tried to prioritize posting once a day with killer creative that was actually going to generate a result 6 years ago when I met Kenny, it would have been futile, because we had other things that were more important at that time. So I think that you can get in that trap of it can become too much to balance. How do you balance it all if you're trying to do everything at once? But at any given point in the business, there's only one constraint, right? There's only one or two things that are actually going to move you forward to the next step. Yeah. And making sure that, okay, my energy as the owner, I'm creating the space for myself to put the energy there. And if that means I have to turn an eye to something here or there, as long as it's not going to blow us up, I may have to accept that. And one of the other things that I believe to be true in business is there's security in growth, there's stability in growth. The bigger it gets, the less I'll have to tolerate, because I'll have great people like Artem, have great people like Matt. You have a stable of great people who you can trust, because the one of the things that allows you to step away from the treatment, the training is you got to have people you trust. And at a certain point, if I have enough people on my team that I really trust at that level, like it actually becomes easier to balance it all because I'm not really doing much of I'm just making sure the right initiatives are happening that like, you know, if there's, so hopefully I'm answering the question, but.
I think and the thing is, I think giving ourselves more credit for what we're actually doing and the steps that we are taking. I know we're not where we want to be yet talking, you know, all of us, we still are trying to get to that point of where we want to be. You know, I just want to personally say I respect you because, you know, I'm going through the YouTube, right? I'm going through it. You're at the face of doing a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. You were making the videos. You were doing the work back in the day. I went all the way back before there was any Matt, before there was any, bro, you was putting the work in. Like you were making videos. You were consistent with doing that. Just talk about like that part, man, because. Well,
I'll tell you a story first. One of my fondest Artem memories of me and Artem was back in the day. This was like when he first started. He didn't really have a ton of patience on his caseload yet. It was probably like first summer he worked with us. And it just was like a random Friday where like everyone else was out on PTO. And it was like my business partner, Artem, and me. And we had a marketing guy at the time that was with us too. And there's a bunch of those videos you'll see with Artem's the patient, I'm the therapist. We shot all those in one day. We were drinking wine at lunch while we were doing it. It was like one of my one of my favorite days of work ever. And I know me and Artem, like he'll always bring that up as something we did. But I mean, as far as like doing the work back in the day,
you've been doing it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, man. Also, like, and I don't want to get too personal, but like I see videos from back in the day, and I see videos now. Well, shoot, you look like you've been in that weight room, man. Just talk about the process of you going through that stage of change in your life personally to be where you are now. I mean, you look good, man. Talk about it.
Appreciate it.
Talk about it.
Well, I think in hindsight, I would have put more priority on my health like earlier. I definitely. It's a trade, man. It's hard. You know, I think different seasons of your life. I think you guys were talking about seasons, like a little. You know, it's like different seasons of your life. You kind of need to prioritize. Like, if I'm trying to grow a business, I might not be able to have a 6-pack like this. You know what I mean? This season, bro. Like, and I think I let that drift a little too far. And I also too. I mean, I think I got into some different things with the treatment. I think one of the things that led to chronic injuries for me was, functional health type of stuff that I like was able to get into. Some of the stuff we got into with Mike. Like Mike, you know, that was part of his journey. And so I was able to kind of combine, you know, some of that stuff, diet. I finally started getting back into exercise this year. And
he the one who made Mike get a 6-pack, bro. Changed his whole diet. I used to call Mike fat. I remember when he first came to me, I said, bro, if you don't got a 6-pack and you just elite athlete, you're not really an elite athlete. Next thing you know, that last summer he came out and shredded. Yeah, he changed my diet and all that.
I think the diet is huge. Diet's huge.
Talk about that, because I know we talk about a lot of the physical stuff. We talk about this. What all does Next Level even do? We talk about the social media, this, that. Talk about that aspect of Next Level.
That's like a fringe thing right now for us. I mean, the bigger thing for us is if you have pain, there's likely some deeper rooted, like the whole premise of Next Level is that, you know, if you're struggling with some kind of pain, there's a deeper reason why you have that pain. And my quest has always been that, you know, I think a lot of therapists they get cut short because they marry themselves to like one way of doing it, right? And they're, you know, they learn an advanced technique or approach, but then they view everything through that one technique or approach. And my quest has always been to, you know, I always have this vision of the perfect physical therapist, and you know, I'd be able to come in, assess the patient, and then I could pull from any approach under the sun to give this person in front of me exactly what they need. And the story of the functional health stuff was I had this patient, you know, in therapy, there's always, especially early in your career, there's always the cases you wish you could have back, right? Like where you just didn't know enough at that time to give the person the right thing. And I had this kid who, I remember he was a really good athlete, baseball player. And he was just like one of these chronically injured people. he came into me, had stress fractures in both of his shins. He came in wearing 2 walking boots at the same time. And, you know, and I'm and in my youth, and I'm like, I see the movement issues. I see the, you know, it's like, yeah, we do the breathing exercise. We correct this, like, boom, home run. Like the athlete, like I'm going to change this kid's life, you know? And I start doing the normal stuff that always works, and it's like not working, you know? And I'm like, why, you know, like, and, you know, he came, like, and we had a good relationship or whatever, but like he didn't get what he paid for, you know, admittedly. And, you know, and then 2-3 years later, probably more, I mean, probably 3, yeah, something like that. He comes back because he has this like knee thing. Yeah. And, you know, I'm like, okay, like this is, I'm not treating, like I know what happened the first time. I'm not going to do it this time.
Yeah.
And I got exposed. Kenny's talking about the little stickers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I really don't do that as much anymore. But there was this course. You know, I kept seeing this thing about like lymphatic. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like lymphatics, and there's this guy who I followed who was really into it. He was doing these like these little like stickers. They call like these. They call them amino neurofrequency, and I'm like, there's no way this is like. There's no way this is like the stupidest shit. But I'm like, but if it does, I don't want to miss it. So I like had a course in Jersey. I just like went and took it, expecting it to just be proving my point. Yeah. And they one of the things they talk about is like gut inflammation, and you know your lymphatic system is like basically your body's plumbing system. So like any of your just the waste byproducts, toxins, you know, all that stuff is like your lymphatics is what pumps it through. But a lot of people have, you know, it like they call it like invisible inflammation. It's not like you don't like you're not all swollen, but it's like underneath. It's like you're not pumping the stuff correctly. One of the big areas your lymph is in your gut. So like I get to this course and one of the sections is on like gut inflammation, and they bring me up. They just poke them like this is back when I was probably like 210, 215. Like, you know, I was like in the
videos.
You know, and they poke them. I'm like, oh man, like I was, you know, it was like painful, you know?
Yeah.
And they put these dots on me, and like it was like, and I had, you know, kind of chronic back issues at that point. I had all these like weird things, and like the next 3 days I was like, why? I would like no back pain. I was like just, and I'm like, whoa, there's something here. And that set me down the path to just like, you know, like, yeah, Mike was another one where he just, you know, he had a lot of digestive issues, had a lot of, you know, not to get into Mike's story, but like, but it was, you know, you realize that. And once I started getting into that stuff, I started like that kid who I couldn't help before, he ends up having a dramatic success story. They won a state championship for baseball, and it was like it was awesome, you know, and
that's a crazy story.
I've just like kind of continued down, and I mean, we could talk about that for hours, but you know, they're like that's one of the components where like, if you come in and you may have back pain, but you know, like I had another story of a lady who I wish I could have had back. She, you know, she had SI joint pain, years of it, you know, find out she poops once a week, you know, and it's like, okay, well, that's probably like related, you know, and there's just things like that, just the deeper root, the deeper root.
I love the science of this whole thing, man. I'm so glad just to hear you just talking about all of this. It's like, it's fascinating and cool to me. I know it's going to be super fascinating to everybody who's watching and listening to what we're doing. I think this is super, super special. Where does the motivation for people, for your business, for everything, like where does it come from, man? Because I mean, it takes a lot to do this.
At the core, my motivation when I really got into PT, like towards the end of my schooling, and you know, pulled my dad's FMS kit out, was always like, if 18-year-old me, who had all this kind of untapped potential that was just like, if I, you know, but no one could help me, no one could figure. If he walks into my clinic, I'll have an answer for him. And the thing that and why I think me and Mike are like Mike is like the epitome of like my like why I do it, right? Like I mean, if it's cool talking about it, I mean, like Mike came, and even as I started playing, I like attached to Mike because he like plays lacrosse the way I played basketball, and it was just like
competitive.
It was just like the passing ability, the kind of like ankle breaker type of style. Like that was how I played. I mean, you may not believe it looking at me, but that's how I played basketball. And you know, but regardless, like, yeah, Mike was 18-year-old me that came into my clinic. He had been to 9 different doctors for his knee pain. No one could, and you know, and then we had the answer figured out. Now he's like gonna, you know, maybe MVP tonight. Who knows? But I think that's the like the motivation behind the whole thing is that. And then
man, I love it, man. I think that is like super cool because just hearing you talk about Mike and how you feel about Mike is how I feel about Artem.
Yeah.
And it's just like a trickle down effect of, you know, just the whole thing and how it's being built, man. I think that, you know, if I don't meet Artem, if I don't hear about Next Level, if I don't hear about Next Level through Kenny, through knowing that Michael Sowers was there with y'all, to having that trust, to having that compatibility, like I think that I don't have the career, especially in the back end of my career. I don't think I have the same outcome. You know, winning 2 championships, being, you know, I was at my best.
Yeah.
Like me and Artem,
Yep.
we would fiend over, all right, I don't like this. I want to change this. All right, this is hurting, but it's coming from this place or that or this.
Yep.
I think that like, oh man, it just turns me up because I think a lot of athletes need to understand that you're going to have things happen to you. You're going to have things happen to your body. Your back's going to hurt. This hamstring is going to hurt, but it's coming from somewhere. And you need to know that you got to go to a place where they can help you with that. And Next Level has been a place that has transformed my whole entire life. And to watch it happen through other people, other athletes, you know, Matt's son's going there. You got Mike Sowers, you got me, you got all these different athletes. We got people that Kenny has worked with. We send them straight to you guys, like, because there's a trusted bond and it's proven that it works. And, you know, I will scream Next Level until I die because simple fact that what it's done for me and how it made me feel and helping me perform at a high level, man. I think that it's important to have people, especially as a pro athlete, to have that in your arsenal to make sure that you can perform at a high level, man. I'm super glad that we were able to make this happen because real stories, real people, real stuff happening in true time. Real business stuff, talking about it all, how it all kind of came together. This is special, man. Before we even close, we gotta end with the keep going story and the keep going journey, man. And I think it's important for people to hear it, and it's important for us to talk about it. Just basically describe a time in your life where, you know, you had to pick it all back up, where you felt like it was over, things weren't right, and you found a way to keep going, man. Talk about that moment, man.
I mean, I think we kind of got into it early. Like for me, I had a couple of those, like, I think inflection moments in my life where, you kind of, I don't know. I think the keep going thing for me is, I don't know, like I resonate with it. I'm going to struggle to find my words here, but I think I like, it was never something that like came hard to me, you know, like I resonate with it and this idea, but it was like, it was less about picking it all up. And it was like, I think I have enough trust in myself, even as a youth, that it's like, no, life is good. Like life, I'm grateful I'm here, you know what I mean? And I have a lot in my life to be thankful for and happy about. And it's just about like, I think keep going to me is less about picking it back up and more about just continuing on your journey, you know, and like finding the thing that you truly love, finding the thing that where you can direct your passion into doing it, and you know, and understanding that maybe you don't pick the right path, maybe you make some mistakes on the path, but like you got to keep walking the path, right? And I think for me it's like less, I don't think I'd necessarily I don't feel like I've ever had a moment in my life where I like had to pick it all back up, but I had moments of inflection, right, where I kind of like lost my outlet, I lost my, you know, this, you know, passion that was kind of taken away or something like that. But you gotta just keep walking the path to find the outlet that makes sense for you. Probably wasn't the best well said, but
that's your words.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense to you and it makes sense to us, man. Kitty?
Nah, man. Again, man, I needed this conversation because you opened my eyes up. I had a lot of questions. I'm still trying to figure out things on the business side, and just to have you here and show us and show the people like how you transform from being a PT to the business. It just starts with, you know, trusting people around you. And I gotta be
not to drag this out, but I think the other thing that we were intentional about from day one is like there's gotta be like a process, right? Like you got to learn how to market yourself, and you got to learn how to sell in a structured way that you can teach someone else how to do.
Yeah.
Because if you, I think when you're trying to get off the initial phases, it's awareness that you exist.
Yeah.
And your ability to like systematically sell the thing that you're doing.
Right.
Like everything else, like from a priority standpoint, everything else was, it's so easy to say, I need my HR and my like finances and all. It's like that stuff can come later. Like,
right.
Like we need to, like, how do I sell? Like when a new client comes to Kenny, what's the sales process that you could train someone else to do? So I think that would just another, I don't know, thing. You said that came to my mind.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Super grateful for this platform. Super grateful for, Showtime Speaks, our presenting sponsor, Next Level Physical Therapy. Big shout out to Matt, having him in the building. Big shout out to FSC Media, and everybody who's all involved, all the sponsors, everybody who keeps this thing going. Business starts like this and it grows into all of this, and it starts with trust. It starts with, everything that Mike is talking about, Dr. Mike is talking about, the processes, the things that we go through, the places that we're trying to go. Continue to walk on this journey with us, y'all, and you already know it's always going to be Showtime Speaks. Come on.
What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.